Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, or good night, wherever you're watching this from. So, I have been so excited for this. Okay, so first things first, I just want to check that you can hear me okay. So, this is being streamed exclusively live into our Facebook group, Wealthy Warrior Entrepreneurs. However, we are also streaming this just for I think day one, and part of this into our YouTube channel, and also I believe Instagram and a couple of other things that my team are sharing it to. So it will then become a paid program. But I just want to check our group to see if it's going in there. Let me just see. Good morning, good morning. So yes, we are live, we are early. It's 7 a.m. I've been up since 5. So I normally wake up around 5-ish anyway. Done my workout, done my Power Life script. So yeah, super excited. Now, I don't always get all of the sorry, let me put your comment on there. Don't always get who is saying the comment, okay, when I'm using StreamYard. But I do love using StreamYard because it allows, which is how you're watching this, because it allows us to reach so many more people. And I want this information to get to as many people as possible, because this is life-changing. It's changed my life, and I know it's going to change yours as well. So do feel free to share this to as many people as possible, okay? And I wanted to mention that there is a prize draw as well, okay? So basically every single day, whoever has shared this, you can take a screenshot of this or of any of the promo, and you can just share it. Make sure you tag me, so Dr. Vidhya Kumar my long Sri Lankan surname, or you can tag my business page, Dr. Vidhya. And if you tag me, then I'll actually see it, right? So I can give you the amazing entry into our prize draw, and you can win, right? You can win a scholarship to one of our programs, which I'm going to talk about later on. I'm going to be talking about that in day 4. Okay, so we've got some bonus trainings coming up for you as well next week, so hang tight. But you can win up to also $1,111 off any of our coaching programs as well. So there's lots of different prizes. You can win my book, you can win a one-to-one coaching session, so many things. So, but you must share this in order to, and just tag me and just to get entry. And you can share as many times as you want, and you can win all the prizes if you want, right? Because there's a draw done every day. So not today, but from tomorrow. Okay. Now I just want to check. Yes, it's streaming live here, and then I'm not streamed on YouTube before, so it's exciting. I'm just going to see. Otherwise, we'll just upload it afterwards. So have to check. I think it actually, right, it will show after you have done the recording. Okay, fine. Perfect. So, hi, Anchal. Oh, it's Anchal. Hi, good morning. Good morning. So, I'm so grateful. If anyone doesn't know Anchal is one of my amazing, amazing clients. And she did our How to Become a Published Author program. And she managed to get the whole thing done in 5 weeks. Can you believe that? So, she has her phenomenal book. So, I'm so sorry. I can't remember the title. Is it Up from Grief? Let me know the name. I'd love to do like a little shout out for it. But just pop it to the comments. Han, what's the name? What's the link? What's the name? Sorry, of your book, and feel free to pop the link in as well. But anyway, she'll pop it in. And if you go into our Facebook group, I think there is a link there anyway. So I'll try not to shake the table too much. But yeah, she did. That's one of our phenomenal programs as well. And also another beautiful way of creating your own economy, which we're coming on to now. So I am so grateful. I'm so excited to be here. I've been waiting for this all week, all month. You don't even know. I've been planning this event for some time, and I have so much to share with you. Okay, great. So this is going to be coming on to YouTube, okay? And it's also going to be in our Facebook group, Wealthy Warriors, as I mentioned. So you can, for the next week or so, be able to watch the replay, okay, of all the recordings. You can watch the replay, and I would strongly recommend that you do watch the replay at least 3 times if you can, of all the recordings, because this is how things work into your subconscious mind, right? The first time you watch something or read something, it's like more surface level thinking, right? It's surface level, it's very much in the conscious mind. But when we actually read it a second time and a third time, sometimes a fourth time, and we really like take notes, and you don't have to take notes, but you're really studying it. That's the difference. Then you go from being interested in an idea to being committed. All right. And this is the reason I called my movement warriors, okay, wealthy warriors. It's because it's not about the hustle and grind, okay? I don't do things with hustle and grind, all right? But it is about commitment. And it is commitment to your mission. What is your mission? All right. This is about igniting your calling so that you're not just doing a job. I have a job. I have my clinic starting at 9 a.m. Okay. My clinic starting at 9 a.m. I'm grateful for my job. I'm in a really grateful position that if you don't know me, I'm Dr. Vidhya, and I'm a full-time medical doctor as well as being an entrepreneur. So I'm a GP based in London, UK. So I'm in a really grateful position that I love what I do. I really love what I do. I'm a lot more holistic than most GPs, and I'm getting more and more that way. And hence why I wanted to start my own company to really hone in on deep emotional healing and holistic health for your mind, body, and soul, health, wealth, and relationships, but also to create opportunities like today to teach other people how to do exactly the same thing as me, or with their own unique gifts and their own unique message, just like our beautiful Anchal. One second, she has put her book here. Oh, here we go. This is Anchal's book, Get Back Up Again, How to Cope When Down with Grief. Okay, so thank you so much. You are an absolute warrior queen. I really happy to share your story, but obviously it's your own story, so I won't share that here, but she did experience a very close person in her family, a loss, and the way she has risen up with beautiful emotional regulation is incredible. Okay, and this is obviously something that she did, her own work, but it just shows the power. This is what I mean by being a warrior. Okay, so you feel all of your emotions, and you still continue to take that fearless action. Okay, I'm so proud of you, girl. I am so proud of you. You're amazing, and I'm really grateful to have you in my world, and to also now be serving you as well as your coach is I'm so grateful for what I do. I'm not gonna cry, but honestly, it's such a pleasure. So the way Anchal is a prime example of when you take pain, right? So these are life events, and I don't know all the reasons why everything happens. I'm very spiritual, but there are life events that occur, and you can take that pain, and instead of brushing it under the carpet and jumping back into work and all those things, which you may even have to do, right, with your responsibilities as Anchal's a mother as well, right? She's a mum and a warrior mum. But it's about transmuting that pain, growing through it, right? I didn't say going through it, growing through it, and transmuting that or turning that into your superpower. You're giving it a different meaning. And then that then becomes a part. It gives you fuel and energy in a different way. Okay. And that is how you can start to achieve peace of mind, and it becomes worked into your life mission. And it gives you such purpose and such meaning, more than, like it's a book. It's an incredible book, right? I'm starting to read it. So I've posted the last couple of days. It's phenomenal. But it's aside from that, there's a whole other side of, actually this is more than just creating a business, of having a book out there, whether that was done with that intention or not. But the fact that that can also start to provide income in addition to, like me, working full time, right? Also a mum. I've got 2 kids sleeping upstairs, age 3 and 5, and grateful for my marriage, grateful for my parents. So all these amazing relationships. So you can do all of those things, and have another way for abundance to be coming through you through to other vehicles as well. And that's what I want to focus on for this workshop, this boot camp, this masterclass, okay, which is actually not, it was initially going to be a 3-part masterclass, wealth masterclass, but actually we've decided to put on some extra trainings for you as well, which is going to be occurring next week. So super excited for that. So hang tight. And this is really for those who are truly committed to themselves, okay, to your loved ones, right? I'm committed to my family, okay, but I'm committed to me as well. So I'm not going to sacrifice myself. I did my workout this morning. All right. I've done my, my reading. I've filled my cup, right? I filled my cup. So by the time they wake up, right, hopefully after this masterclass, but by the time they wake up, I'm ready. I'm ready for them. I'm ready for them and all their little antics, my cheeky monkeys. But I'm also ready to serve them, and I don't mean that in a subservient way. But I mean, this is another role I'm grateful to have been given by God or by universe, by whatever terminology works for you. Please use that. I think. You don't need to be, a mother to have kids. It's not a biological thing, but this is another role that I have been given, which I'm grateful for, and I'm grateful to serve through that role as well, and to lead through example. Kids, especially kids, or young other people around you, your team, they emulate what you do. Okay. They often don't do what you're just saying, which I would love, but they actually do more what they see. They're very authentic. They do more. People do what they see in you. And also, they're just like, kids are just like your subconscious mind. They genuinely can see what you think about yourself. So you might be saying another thing, but if you don't really feel it for yourself, it doesn't make a difference. You can't lie to yourself. You feel the inauthenticity, right? You feel that. Maybe you feel some anxiety. Maybe you feel the discomfort, whatever you want to call it. So you feel that. So this is all about alignment, being really aligned with who you really are. We're not trying to fake anything here, okay? Who you really are, your values, and these will change with time as life events happen. As we intentionally learn, right? I can't remember the full quote. Life changes happen, essentially. But personal growth is a choice. This is what my mentor, Bob Proctor. So I'm also Bob Proctor, used to be a Bob Proctor coach. He's my incredible mentor. So something he used to always say, right? Changes happen in life. But personal growth, and I would go as far as to say spiritual growth and professional growth, is all and one and the same. But it all stems from personal growth, not professional growth. Personal growth is a choice. That is a choice that you make. You choose to grow through something, or you can choose to stay where you are. And this is the difference between a warrior, meaning WORRIER, a warrior, feeling stressed, being in fear, being in self-doubt. Don't worry, I've been there, okay? Not judging. But there's a difference between that. This is what I realized in myself. There's a difference between a warrior and being a warrior. WARRIOR. Yeah, 2 letters that make it different. Going from warrior to warrior. That is the difference. And it is a difference in your consciousness, or basically your thoughts. That's all it is. Okay, so complicate things. It's just a difference in your thoughts, but it's then also a difference in your feelings, how you genuinely feel. You know, when you're really in flow with something, and maybe Anshul, you felt this when you wrote your book. I said you felt it when I wrote my books. I'm a #1 best-selling author as well. So I love getting people's stories out there into the world and their unique gifts in the form of a book, right? And then teach them how to turn that into their empire and programs and etc. We'll get all into that in another day in this masterclass. But that is a beautiful superpower. Okay, so when you are changing your thoughts, your feelings are different. It feels good, right? When you are aligned, you're doing actions which are really in alignment with your values, that's when it becomes your mission. Okay, and remember, we're not sacrificing here. We are wealthy warriors. This is the name of my movement. Take what resonates, okay? And I don't mean this with hustle and grind. Okay, I don't have time to hustle and grind. I've got kids, okay? I used to be really into hustle and grind, and I thought that's what peak performance was, okay? But it's not. You need to take action, but the right action, and with an attitude of gratitude and faith and power. Personal power, 100% faith and trust in yourself, and also the higher power, whatever that means for you. Okay. So that is energy coming to and through you. You know, I also have a diploma in chakra healing, and this is how it works. It flows through you, it aligns you, it's your chi or your ki. And you know, as a doctor, I would be saying this is mind body medicine. You know, the mind is connected to the body, and you know, this is how when you're stressed, okay, your hormone, the stress hormone is called cortisol, and your stress hormone rises when you're stressed, obviously, so it rises up. And what this happens is, on a cellular level, on a very granular cellular level in your body, it's rising the cortisol level, so your cells don't function in their optimal way. So they don't function in the optimal way. Your respiratory rate goes up a little bit, right? Your heart rate goes up a little bit, and not in a good way because of exercise, for example. So in that case, it's different. Your cells are functioning much more efficiently, much more effectively. This is different. This is a stress response. And when you have that chronic stress, that then activates certain genes, certain components, certain things in your body, which you do have a choice over. I firmly believe that, and I've seen that in my patients, and I've also seen how it can be reversed. A lot of things that can be reversed, a lot of things which maybe there's just not enough evidence for with random clinical trials for it to be put into nice guidelines for like every single GP to practice necessarily, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Okay, so remember, it's about what you believe. That is actually, start to see it as what I believe is all the evidence I need. Okay, if you can feel it, if you can visualize it, that means it's a possibility. And that works both ways, whether it's for you, right, which is similar to the placebo effect, right, but not meaning that you're given something fake or that has that's not meant to work. It means that you can positively, genuinely create the life that you want, right, through visualization. But it's bigger than meditation. So obviously certain actions, which we're going to go into in this masterclass as well, there's certain actions you have to take. So what you were doing is we're going to be creating a vessel for this inspired action through visualization and meditation, through being connected Then we have a vessel. So previously my vessel was only as a doctor. And whilst it's a beautiful mission and I love it, in terms of being a wealthy warrior, it's limited and is governed by other forces. Even when I was a GP partner in my own practice, NHS practice and private, it's still governed by, NHS contract, and, learned a lot, but it's still governed by a specific contract, even though I was technically my own boss. There's still rules and how you do things. And not just as in nice guidelines. I said not just as in how you look after people, but as in how you can earn your money. That's what I'm talking about here. Okay. And then when I was clinical director for the government, we call it here, Department of Health. So I was mental health director for my whole region. And even then it's still governed, right? Like certain salary that you have paid monthly. And this is the cap, even if you stay up all night and you go all out and you raise the therapy rates exponentially and, promote therapy and really get people into looking after their mental health and all of those sorts of things. That was the way in which I could help with mental health at that time. It's not like you're going to have a raise in your income, right? So it's fixed. So it's very much an employee mindset. That's why people develop this mindset of clock in, clock out. Like, oh, it's 5 o'clock. It's like their brain just automatically switches off. Or obviously, it's a doctor, you don't finish at 5, but whatever time you're meant to start and finish. Whereas CEO mentality is very different. It's very different. Because it's not like if I put 2 hours in, now, I mean, I'm grateful now that I do have clients who just click and buy, right? So that I have messages, like blowing up for some people who are like, how do I enroll? What's the link, etc. So that it can get to that level, or be developing as I've got, which is passive income from my books, multiple books, via Amazon or various different sources. So, it will get to that point, and it doesn't actually take that long, right? So for me, it was within 30 days, but again, we'll go into all of that another day. But when you have it as a job, have gratitude for that job, because it's a beautiful way to still be serving the world and using your unique gifts. But it's like it's a box, it's very set. These are the rules, and rules are good, right? Rules sometimes are needed for some folk who maybe can be a bit unsafe or whatever. That's why we have rules. But for a lot of people, if you're watching this, I firmly believe the rules are not made for you. Okay, not meaning that you go and break the rules as a doctor or in a competency-based career, but what I mean is that it's kind of obvious that you be ethical and there's certain guidelines put in place to keep people safe, etc., with whatever your job is. Okay, but it really stifles creativity. It really stifles creativity, and I also want to be able to help people heal deeply in ways which may not be medication. And I'm not against medication at all, but I know that there are really powerful modalities such as chakra healing in particular. Okay, which is why I really studied it. Meditation, I love crystals too, aura healing, just so many amazing modalities. And I'm committed as a healer to studying all of these throughout my life, like including shamanism and Reiki and art therapy, just all of these beautiful modalities, ways of healing. I think it's so interesting, and I'm committed to that. I'm committed to up-leveling my craft outside of the box of just being a doctor, right? And that's what a mission is. You don't stick to a box you've been given. You could be grateful for the box, like, wow, thank you so much for this box, because before I thought it was all about this box, and this was the only box, and this was the only way I could serve all these people that I really want to serve through this box. And then you start to realize that, oh, hold on, there's so many other ways you can do this, but I need to get out of the box in order to do that. So right now I'm out of the box and I have my own, I'm created my own, not even a box, but it's got a box with an open lid, unlimited income, unlimited creativity, right? I can truly release my unlimited, limitless potential. Okay, and that is flow. That is, I can really feel the flow. But I'm also so grateful, and I'm excited to start my clinic at 9 a.m. as well. And I'm grateful for that vehicle as well. It's another beautiful way to serve, especially for some people who may not have heard of a lot of other ways of, healing, or they're very much caught in sort of physical symptoms, etc. So anyway, that's just another way to serve. But what I really want to talk to you about is money. Okay, now we're here to talk about empowerment and how to create your own economy. And what does that mean? There's a lot of talk right now about recession, about obviously there was COVID and the pandemic, and during that time as well, people were understandably, of course, very very scared, very frightened. But what it did do is it allowed for a lot of creativity because people had to. So this is the beautiful thing, I would say, of human beings, is when you really allow creativity and you think, okay, I'm solutions-based mindset. I don't just think about all these problems and all the reasons why something's not going to work out. You need to know that in order to then work out the solutions. If you're just going to think of all these problems and why it's not working out, that's not useful to anybody. Okay, that's not useful to anybody, because it's just, what's the point? It's just creating problems. Unless you're doing that in order to figure out some kind of a solution. You may not know the answer yet, and that's fine. But all you need right now is absolute faith and belief. And that's what happened in COVID. Okay, we saw in the NHS for years, we'd been trying to get people to go online, right? In fact, in my practice, 2015, we'd started this pilot of like consultations online, right? We'd started this 2015, right? 5 years before the pandemic, or 4 years if you start in 2019. But we'd started 4 or 5 years, well before that, we'd started e-consultations in my practice. And people just weren't interested. We had the odd few, and we were like, yeah, we can do online by email or maybe even video or telephone. People just weren't interested because they were very scared of, information being shared and what will happen. And I get that. I get that. We have to be careful. But if you constantly stay in that what if this and what if that and what if that, then, well, then you see the people who already had it set up, by the time it came to COVID, they were like, oh, well, I already do e-consults anyway, even when it seemed sort of weird a few years ago. So you see, creating your own economy and it is part of that mindset of being a CEO, okay? Creating an economy of your own, okay? So this, CEO, so this is a different mindset. This is out of the box thinking. It's not actually out of the box thinking. Being a CEO has been around for time, right? People traditionally actually used to have their own company, right? And trade livestock, etc. So really they were being CEO, right? Then came in, having a job and having a salary and all of those things. So the CEO mindset is very different, because we need to start thinking about, I'm doing this, right? You are the leader of you. And soon your own company or your mission, however you want to do it, will then have employees and other people working for you as well, okay? But you are the leader of you, first of all. That is important, because then you find the solution no matter what. Now, I want to relate this back to money. Obviously, that's why we're here, okay? Creating your own economy means that no matter what happens, when you have your own business, no matter what happens, you always have a vehicle through which you can receive abundance. And you can also receive that in so many other ways, obviously. Inheritance and, real estate, even if it's not a business and so forth. But I'm talking here about something that you can control, okay? You can control, and you literally, almost like a volume knob, you can decide if you want to really ramp it up, right? And go full-time entrepreneur, or you want to do part-time. Like, I'm part-time. I'm all in. I am all in to my mission, but I'm part-time on it. It's like creating like another ship. I'm on the doctorship at the moment, like that full time, and I'm creating another ship where potentially, right, I'm creating it so that I can go full time on that, not full time in hours, right, because I can still do part-time hours with this. That's the beauty. But that is then another boat, and then there's another boat, and there's another boat, and another, etc. Okay, so then first of all, in your job, you enjoy it so much more. Like, I love medicine now because it's not my only thing, right? I'm not doing it only for income. So I can go back to really being, as I see it, as a healer. That's the way I see being a doctor, as a healer and helping people, through that. And there's, as a doctor, as a GP, I'm doing it through the guidelines. Okay, this is how they want me to do it. I've got my GP hat on. That's fine. But the spirit in which I do it is very different. Okay, I feel it's very different. So what you want to do is you want to start thinking about money in a very different way. Now, money is, some people say money is energy. Basically, the concept is that money is not just the piece of paper that pounds are on, or the coins, or euros, or whatever currency you work in. Even you can even look up your, bank account details on your phone and make purchases with your phone. So it's not actually just about that, anymore. But it is the exchange for service rendered in some shape or form. This is the divine law of compensation. You are being compensated. This is where karma comes in. What you give out to the world, you receive back. Okay, and in here, in this masterclass, we're talking about receiving that back in the form of money in some shape or form. Right? I want you to say this to yourself. I am open to any, I'm so happy and grateful. I'm open to any and all forms of wealth. Right? And you can apply this to health and to love. Right? But it all starts with your relationship with money. So yes, it's a relationship. How you treat it. I'm not just talking about savings and necessarily where you put the money. I'm talking about how you feel about it. Okay, so how you feel about money is so important. So I read this phenomenal book, Putting Prosperity into Action by Robert Russell, and Money is God in Action, okay, by Dr. Baker. I'll link those in the comments below, wherever you're watching this, and also in the Wealthy Warrior Entrepreneurs group. Okay, phenomenal books, and there's also The Having, and I learned this from I've got coaches as well. Okay, so I have coaches as well. I think it's important for your personal growth. So I want to keep growing and growing and growing, and I think that's really important. So I've learned this all, from my mentors, and I've got my own unique gifts and messages, and I love bringing it all together for you. Okay, so this is where I really learned about how having an abundance mindset, or some people refer to it as, it's much bigger than that, right? It's a prosperity consciousness, which means it's really a being. It's more than just how I think about money. It's more than just thoughts. It's a feeling. It's an embodiment, right? It's a beingness. That you can have that regardless of how much money there is in your bank account. Now, obviously, we're talking about how to get more money into your bank account, so don't worry, we are getting into that. But I really wanted to start with this, right? I could have easily just gone into strategy and do this and start business and blah, blah, blah. None of it will work. And trust me, none of it worked for me until I really changed my mindset. And I didn't even have to change it that much, to be honest, to start creating, a lot of income through my coaching and through publishing my books, etc. But it really does start with more than just your mindset, but your beingness, how you really feel about money and wealth. And, do you feel you have to earn money? Because, earning now to me actually feels a bit more like hustle and grind, right? And I never really thought about it in that way before until, one of my mentors introduced that concept to me, that actually, you're earning. When you say I earn money, there's a belief there that I can only earn money if I do this thing, right? Like being a doctor, a teacher, or perhaps your spouse is a breadwinner, and the money can therefore only come through them. That's a belief. That is using the law of assumption. You've made an assumption. So you feel that the money is only flowing through this vehicle, whatever this vehicle is for you. Maybe it's inheritance, maybe it's some savings you have, or whatever it is, but you feel that money can only flow through here. But that's not true. Okay, you can, even without any physical money in your bank account, how you feel about money is a beingness, and that's so important, because that's how you attract money as well. This isn't magic, but this is how you start with creating your own economy, with starting a business, with starting anything. It first starts with your mind. It starts with how you connect to money, how you're imagining it to go. If you can't imagine it, if you're going to base it purely on what I see in my bank account, then you will never have a thriving business or thriving anything, because you're waiting for the evidence to come first. You have to see this like gravity, okay? So we don't see gravity, right? But I mean, it's definitely, it's sure as hell working, right? Right here, right now. There's not signs up anywhere saying gravity, gravity, gravity. No, we know. It's a knowing. That's the difference. It's a knowing. It's a knowing that it's definitely there. Even if I can't see it, it's definitely there. And it's the same thing with money. It's definitely there, but it doesn't have to be physically in my bank account. It's just like, I'm going to start my clinic at 9 a.m. Great. I know that that money for that job is going to come on this specific date into my bank account. Now that's very much employee mindset, but I'm so grateful for it. That's coming, that the way that that vehicle works is I do this for this many hours in this way, and then this amount of money fixed to the penny, I know, will come into my bank account, and on this day, and I can see it, I can visualize it coming in. But just because that money is not in my bank account right now, does that mean it's not going to come? No, it's definitely coming. And that's the part of the mindset. That's a prosperity consciousness of just knowing that not only is it on its way, but that I've already received it, right? I'm already got plans on what I'm going to be using that money for. There's already, payment plan set up, or bills that I'm grateful to pay. Do you see the difference? Bills I'm grateful to pay. I'm not cursing every time I have to pay tax or the gas bill. Like, I quite like, being able to, cook my food and have a hot meal every day, and have freshly home cooked food. And I love cooking, so I'm really grateful for gas. So that's the difference about having a prosperity consciousness. Now, this really is a very integral part, okay, of creating your own economy. If you are thinking, I just want to skip to the bit where we just talk about how do I make money, then you really need to listen to this. You really need to study this, because that means that what that tells me is that you're having a consciousness right now, which can easily be changed if you want to. But you're having a consciousness, and you're coming from a place of lack. You're coming from a place of scarcity, of need. I need this. I need this money. It's scary, and I've got fears, and I've got doubts, and is it going to work out? And all of that is not a prosperity consciousness. So people feel that, okay, even when you're running a business, people feel that when you are providing a service out of need, okay, and like desperation, and we've all been there, but people can feel that energy compared to when you are really doing it from a place of enjoying what you do and wanting to help this other person. And yes, it's a business, so you are going to receive money for that exchange as well, or you'll receive it in some shape or form. But it's really important that you start to look at your relationship with money, and you start to give it gratitude. And I don't mean gratitude for, like, oh, I've received this money, now I've got to really hold tight every single scrimp and save, and and I'm not saying don't save, but I'm just saying we don't need to see it as like I've got to hold on to it tightly, because that means you also believe you're not going to get any more. That means that if you start your business today, you don't believe that in the next 1 week that you could receive more money. That means you believe that it can only happen through my job. But that's not true, right? I wrote one of my books for which one is it? Habit. Well, I've got several books, but I wrote one of my books, Habits. Okay, how to transform your life, mind, body, and soul in 21 days. Habits. And I wrote that in 2018. I actually wrote it in my first maternity leave, because I was really looking for a different way to just change up my career. I was really frustrated in medicine, right? I was really frustrated in medicine. I was thinking like, okay, I'm a partner, and I don't know, like whatever I do, it's really against the grain to earn more money, and I can only earn so much. Like, I'm gonna have a baby now, so I can't just go and do night shifts and go and work extra weekends. And I still do that from time to time. If there's a need for the clinic, that's a bit different. In my vocation as a doctor, but I'm like, well, I can't just up and leave and just start working extra things, right? So I was like, I need to find another way. And it was very much a need and desperation at that time. I had colleagues who, and I'm sorry this was triggering, but who would, unfortunately ended their life because the profession was becoming very toxic. It doesn't mean all of the professions like that, but it just felt like it feels very much like that in certain areas where you're working in very deprived areas and you're really trying to serve and all of these things. And you've got a family to feed and all of these things that it can really go into your consciousness, like the scarcity and the lack and the crisis and all of those things. So seeing that in my colleagues around them and not even being to help, even as like the mental health director, was hugely scary. It really felt like I really need to find another way for my own mental health and for my family, who I'm committed to 100%, and for myself, who I'm committed to, and those I serve. I want to give a phenomenal service to those I serve. And for me, it doesn't have to be as a doctor or as a, whatever. It doesn't need a title. Right? We don't need to keep boxing things up. I just want to serve, and I want it to be outstanding, and I want to have that creativity and flow, but I also want to live a joyful, wealthy life, me and my family and those I serve. I want us all, that is our birthright. Life isn't meant to be a struggle, okay? That's just when we've forgotten that we have choice, okay? When you're living in fear and lack and desperation, is because you've forgotten you have a choice. And remember, personal growth is a choice, okay? Abundance mindset, prosperity mindset. This is what it means. It's the same thing with your health, right? If you fall ill, it's the belief, right? It's the belief that, yes, life is not meant to be a struggle. Exactly. It's the belief that, like when I had COVID, and this was in, I think it was 2021 that I had, actually, not 2020, but it's the belief that, or I was in ITU actually with my HDU, sorry, with my first one. He had sepsis at birth, and that was a scary time. That was very scary. I even took like most of my pregnancy, I was off, like intentionally. I'd worked my leave in such a way, and unpaid leave, etc. But I took a lot of time off to really focus on myself and my new baby, and even whilst I was pregnant. So when it then went into sepsis, I was really sort of baffled. I was like, oh, but I did all the things. I just don't understand. I did all the things, but I had really worked on my spiritual health, that I just knew. I had that inner knowing. See, I had the consciousness that I have no idea what's going on right now. I have no idea why right now, baby's on a, resuscitator, and I've just had my epidural, and baby's being wheeled away to go to special care baby unit, and I'm being wheeled in the opposite direction to go to high dependency unit, and my poor husband's running between the two, and I have no idea why this is happening right now. And that thinking of why is not what I'm supposed to be thinking. That is the wrong question. And it's not even a question right now, because that is what 100% faith is. yes, in God or whatever you believe in, you choose to believe in, but just even 100% faith in yourself. Okay, that, well, I've done all the right things. I'm already a, phenomenal mother, and I trust in myself. And I trust in my connection with this baby, even if the baby's not physically in my arms, right? That would be a beautiful experience right now. Like, I didn't even get to hold my baby yet, but I trust in that this connection, this bond is so strong. We don't even need to be physically together. Like, they are receiving my love right here, right now. And that was my belief. And I was like, God, I don't know what's going on. I was literally alone in this cubicle. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But like, I know you'll make this right. I know that it's all fine. And for whatever reason, this was the best course of action right now. I don't know why, but maybe they're trying to avert something else happening. Maybe it was going to be even worse, right? And this was like the best way of saving that situation. I don't know, but I wasn't going to go into any of that thinking. So this is the consciousness. And then, 5 days, a week later, we were at home. It was fine. Everything's completely fine, even though they were like, oh, he might have meningitis and he might have neurological complications and he needs to have a lumbar puncture, which he had, and all of. But the whole time I was just very calm, and I really had that warrior archetype in my mind, and that's where this movement stemmed from. Actually, was that warrior move, because that's what I held on to, but not hustle grind, but like warrior. Like, I've got this, and I'm a spiritual gangster warrior, and like, I'm always looked after and I'm safe and I'm provided for. And so this is the consciousness I'm talking about. It's not just thoughts and like nice positive words. No, it's a real deep embodiment of, I have got this. Okay, and it's the same thing with money. So basically, baby was fine, everything was fine, but it just shows how that week, in terms of thoughts and feelings, it's a very different experience. Depending on what you choose, how you choose, what meaning you choose to give the situation. So for me, that was a spiritual awakening. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a spiritual awakening. Okay. And we were forced to be at home for 4 months. It was like our own lockdown. This was 2017. So this was way before like COVID. So no one knew why I was just being at home, but they said, he might have sepsis again, possibly 3-4 months later. So you just basically just need to be at home. I mean, you can leave the house, but don't go to any shops, or don't go where anybody else is, or don't do this, don't do that. So basically it's nowhere to go unless you sit in a field by yourself, which is quite nice. A little bit tricky with a newborn baby. So I didn't go to any of those baby groups, didn't go to any of that NCT stuff, didn't do anything. And I was really like, right, I am determined to make sure that I do not get postnatal depression. And I was really, really determined. So I really focused on meditation, self-love, using everything I'd learned in hypnobirthing, all of those techniques, immense self-love and connection, and really went into spirituality. And I also wanted to, more than ever, create my own economy, because I wanted to be a mindful mama with my babies. So that's where I was like, right, I've got to do something. I wrote a book in a week, right? Because that was to help me to like funnel all of this flow into a creative project. And I'd always wanted to write a book, and I didn't want to be this old woman on my deathbed sort of like, oh, I'd always said I'd write a book, I always said I'd start a business, I'd always said I'd become a coach, and I never did it. I didn't want that anymore. I was like, I'm going to start in this mat leave. So in that mat leave, I started an MBA. I wrote a book in a week. I started my business. This is all on mat leave, all during my own lockdown, when no one even knew what lockdown was. But I was determined to do this, and to do it in a balanced way, right? Balanced with my health, my relationships, and my money. Okay. And it may, there's different ways that may have looked for a couple of years whilst I was trying to figure out the balance. And I funnel all of everything I'm learning for you in this masterclass right here, right now that you're watching, and into my movement, Wealthy Warriors, and those that I serve in my coaching programs and my books and my YouTube channel. You can go and watch my YouTube channel, Dr. Vidhya, and watch all those videos, and you'll see videos from 2019 when I was pregnant. Right, that's with the second one, when I was pregnant. So this is what I'm saying, is that inner knowingness. Okay, did it feel scary at times? Yes, but I chose to focus on love. I chose to focus on faith. And I chose that belief. I chose that. And I just went all in. I went all in. I put my blinders on in terms of not brushing it under the carpet. Like, there were times that obviously I cried and I grew through those emotions and I allowed those emotions to come to and through me. I think that's really important. So you don't suppress. Okay, I journaled and meditated. But then once I then had raised my vibration, I then carried on with whatever the inspired action was, which for me was my book, and obviously all these different ways of learning, motherhood. And I was learning about business, my MBA, learning about economics, etc., which is so different to me if you knew me before. So this is about that inner consciousness. This is about that inner knowingness when it comes to your money as well, that I will always be provided for no matter what. And I may not know the exact vehicle right here, right now, but maybe you love your job right now, okay, and you want to start a business. Double thumbs up. But maybe you're like, I hate my job. It's like, I swear 50% of the patients I speak to, and probably speak to today in my clinic, will say, I hate my job. And they will be like, I don't want to name any companies, but like directors of top companies out there in the world, I should say that. And they'll be like, I hate my job. I don't know what to do. I feel trapped, because they have forgotten they have a choice. They think this is the only way in which they can serve. They're ambitious, which is why I called it warrior. Like, I love that. I love peak performers, right? I love creating visionary leaders. I just love it. Just juicy, juicy, juicy work. But they think this is the only way I can serve as a director, as a CEO of somebody else's company, or whatever. They feel like, or a doctor or a teacher or whatever. They feel like this is the only role I can do, which is not true. They've completely forgotten that they have a choice. They've completely forgotten that. And what they're starting to do is, we see the world through our senses, obviously. We see the world. So through a sight, hearing, touch, smell, right? Through our senses, we receive knowledge about the world into our unconscious mind. Through watching the news, reading the news. Remember, you have a choice. So your social media, whatever's coming up, okay? For me, my social media, I've curated it in such a way that it is all law of attraction, manifestation, spirituality, peak performance, business opportunities, how I can really, health, how I can really become an even more phenomenal doctor. So I've won awards for being a doctor and for being a coach, but how can I take that to the next level of service? How can I reach more people? I'm always looking for more. How can I, but with satisfaction and gratitude for where I am right now? How can I do this more? How can I get more energy? How can I do more and more and more? Do you see what I mean? I'm always looking for the next level, but with gratitude for where I am now. So that's what my social media looks like, because I've created it intentionally in that way. Most people, they live life in a very reactive way. I'm responding, right? I'm responding. People are like, oh my God, there's an algorithm. I'm like, awesome, there's an algorithm? So you mean I can actually like curate it to how I want? Awesome. So I've used that to my advantage. But most people, they just scroll on and they just absorb in like a sponge everything. That's what our subconscious mind does, especially in the morning and the evening when you're a bit sleepy. Is the worst time to look at your phone if you have no idea how your mind works, which is most people in the world. I know how my mind works, so I'm doing different things in the morning. Okay, like my affirmations, my life script of how I want my life to continue to go, and what's the next level of that, meditation, all of that. I'm using my phone in a different way. Okay, but it's not about the activities, it's the way in which you're doing it and the belief. Okay, this is the wealthy warrior mindset. Not even mindset, this is the wealthy warrior embodiment of that, of a wealthy warrior. This is the lifestyle. Okay, so that's how we need to be, is to really hone in on sorry, can you just checking the connection here? Yeah, so that's how we need to hone in on that. So you really need to focus on, okay, my relationship with money, it's coming to me no matter what, but I can't just sit here and do nothing. Like, it is about being an open vessel, being receptive. Like, I love Abraham Hicks, so it is about being an open vessel, being having the prosperity consciousness that I know is coming in any and all forms. But I do believe you need to take certain action, even to receive inheritance, okay, or money by your spouse or whatever. That means that you are also having a certain type of relationship that you've nurtured, that with a lot of love and care and gratitude and compassion, that somebody is wanting to reward in that way, or not reward the relationship, but they're wanting, they want to do that through that vehicle, okay, or through house. Maybe it's not physical money, maybe it's a house, maybe it's not a house, maybe it's loan, mortgage, credit cards. All of these things are all different ways of looking at money, okay, and different ways of receiving wealth. So Robert Baker in Money in Action says, prosperity consciousness is when you can right here, right now, be able to get to anywhere you want to go, whether that's walking or get a cab or train or bus ride or plane or whatever. And you've just had a meal, right? But it's not about the things, it's the way in which you do it. So for example, if you take you're going on holiday, okay, and you fly there, to go on holiday, and there might be one person who goes on the journey, and they go on the journey and they spend the whole time just moaning, complaining. Oh my gosh, this person was kicking my seat. Oh, the food was horrible. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Oh my gosh, it's so cramped, and just moaning all the time. Or you can be the other person who is probably flying first class anyway, because they have a prosperity consciousness, but regardless, they are looking at that map like, oh my gosh, look, we're almost here. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And oh, wow, look at where we are now. Look at the little plane that flies, over the countries. They're really enjoying the journey. They're really probably talking to somebody next to them in the seat and enjoying that conversation, and like, where are you going on holiday and what are you doing, and oh, that's so much fun. Oh, you have a daughter that lives there, and oh, that's so much, oh, it's really interesting, blah blah blah. And they're just enjoying as they're walking up up and down the aisle, or whatever they're doing, or they're reading their book. They're really in the spirit of traveling. They're really in the spirit of enjoying getting to their destination. Maybe they're reading up like what they're going to do, or maybe they are writing their next book. Just an idea. Maybe they're writing the next book. They're really because they've taken the embodiment that this is my life. I travel, I'm using my time, and I'm really enjoying this. Or there's the other person who just moans and complains, and then when they get off the plane, that person will also moan and complain that, oh my gosh, it cost this much, or maybe next time we will fly a different airline, or maybe we did this, oh my god, it wasn't worth it. And then they'll be like, the taxi will then take, I don't know, 5 minutes longer than they want, and they'll complain and moan about that. And so it goes on the whole trip. There's always something. Even when they get back, there's always something they're moaning about. You almost think, why did you bother going on holiday? Just stay at home. Okay. Or we had this other person who they're always looking for opportunity, even if it's a challenging time. And I don't mean they're taking advantage. That's the scarcity mindset when people say they're taking advantage. No, they're looking for advantage. They're turning a challenge into opportunity. So that is a very different way of looking at something. And people who don't get that will often blame other people who are getting what they want in life, right? When it's available to everybody, right? If I am receiving £100,000 per month, right, for my services, for my outstanding service, I'm receiving that every single month. There's no reason why you can't do that too, right? There is no reason. That doesn't mean that, oh, I've taken all the money, so that means you can't have it. That's not true. It's available to everybody, right? Just like, as I mentioned, was just like water, right? So if I've got my cup of coffee here. So if I'm going to having my cup of coffee, I'm having lipstick. If I'm having my cup of coffee, then does that mean that you can't have a cup of coffee? Does that mean that if I have 3 cups, I probably shouldn't go more than 3 cups a day, but if I have 3 cups, does that mean that, oh, that's it, Vidhya's have all the coffee and that's it, no one can ever have coffee again? No, you just go and get some more coffee. Right? It's not like I have to now keep this coffee because I might never be able to get coffee again. So I'm going to just hold on to this cup just in case we never have coffee again, right? You just get another cup. So it really makes a difference. That's how you have to see it. Okay. Now, what I want you to do with creating your own economy is I want you to focus on, why are you here? Why did you come to this training? What brought you to this training? What excited you about this training? Or what made you feel that this is, I want you to put some in the comments below if you can, or to the side, or wherever you're watching this. I would love, love, love for you to please put in the comments what drew you to this training. Okay, now, and whilst you're doing that, I'm just going to have a look at, because we're streaming this in multiple places, where else, if there's any comments from anybody else as well. So write down in the comments, what was the reason you wanted to come on this training? What did you want to learn? But more than that, what's happening in your own life right now, if you choose to share. It might be that you want to learn about business opportunities. It might be you want to start a business. It might be you want to learn how to take your existing business and scale it up, or you're just interested about a particular aspect. Like, tell me what is it? I'd love to know. That also helps me in providing the best training for you as well. So just write it in the comments. For you as well. Oops. Oh, sorry, I'm just having a look at my live on here as well. So there's more comments on here. So I'm sorry I didn't see some of them. So hi Pooja, and also Rocky. Hi Simon. Hi Matthew. Thank you all for joining. Okay. Right. So I'll keep that on. So some of you, what have you said is you've wanted to start Diana. Okay, yeah. So because we're streaming, there's lots of other places. So some of you say that you want to start a business. So yeah, we're definitely going to be covering that. Okay, but why? Why do you want to start a business? Like, obviously, I've told you the reason, that this is a phenomenal vehicle, so you definitely want to be doing it. I strongly believe that whether you love your job or not, obviously, if you hate your job, then you should definitely look for another job. There's no need to ever stay in a job that you don't like. I've left loads of jobs before. I don't think it's being a quitter. I think staying in a job that you know is not good for you, but you choose to stay in it, is basically like being in a toxic relationship, and that means you're quitting on yourself. Okay, and I believe that means you've forgotten that you have a choice, and you've forgotten that you have transferable skills. I don't care if you are, you work in a coffee house, you still have transferable skills. Okay, it's how you choose to view yourself. And you can always find another job whilst you set up your own business. You should definitely do at least those two, a job and a business. And then you can make a decision, once you have a successful business, then you can choose, okay, do I want to do the business all in, or actually I love what I'm doing? Great, just do both if you want to. You don't have to, but it's whatever you want, right? It's whatever you want. It's not about, I want you to write down your definition of work, not work, sorry, of success. What is your definition of success? And this definition of success must tick the boxes of health, your wealth, meaning what is your financial goal per month? Now, when I say goal, I mean bigger than bills. Okay, let's think bigger, not just paying off your bills or having an excellent credit score. Like, all those things are nice, but it's a bit like a game. Like 3 months later, your credit score can be something else, right? So don't attach your self-worth or someone else's self-worth to what their credit score is. It's just a number. It's a useful number, but it's just a number. I mean, who knows, maybe your business does so phenomenally well, you get 6-7 figures, that you don't even need a mortgage through which you want a credit score, etc. So you can do both, right? But think bigger, get out of the box. So yeah, you might want to start with, okay, what is your expenses? But I wouldn't even see it with expenses. Be grateful for every single, like, wow, I get to pay for, I'm so grateful I pay my kids' nursery fees. Right, I'm so grateful, because it's an amazing nursery. He loves his friends. I'm grateful to be in a position that I can pay for that. Phenomenal experiences. He gets to go on like forest school, and the football club comes to his nursery, which is great. Comes to his nursery, and they have all these really cool people that come into the nursery and give talks and play with them. They even have a teacher that goes in, and a dentist, and all sorts of really cool things. So I'm really grateful that he can have this phenomenal experience, right? And all these clubs that we take them to, and swimming, and like when the way the swimming teacher is with them, and sometimes one to one, and just the care and love and attention. These people are really passionate about what they do. Like, wow, I'm so grateful to provide this experience, right? So I don't see it as a hindrance, like, oh my gosh, it costs this much, right? I see it as, wow, I'm so grateful, right? I'm so grateful right now. I'm serving through my business to in serving you right now, and also in my clinic, which is starting in 45 minutes, as a doctor. I'm grateful for all these different ways that I serve in order to also provide these opportunities for my children, which I do in my mastermind marriage, my partnership with my beautiful husband. I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful for that too. I'm really grateful for everything that he does. I'm grateful for everything that, he provides, for us as a family. So do you see what I mean? When you use gratitude, when you really return to love, um, life is just so beautiful. And it really is about using your mental faculty of perception to change how you view the world, to really go back to love and gratitude. Like I get to do this. I get to do this for them. I'm so grateful. And my husband gets to do so many other things for them, which are phenomenal. And I recognize that and respect that. And I'm so grateful for, and I'm so inspired by things that he does as well. And wow, we get to do this together, like hand in hand, and do it as a beautiful family. Like, wow, like, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you. This is, wow, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I get to do this. So, can you see it can be very different? Right? So, when you're having the food as well, when I'm buying like organic food, I'm like, wow, thank you. I'm grateful. Like, you don't have to have organic food, but I'm really grateful I get to buy like organic food, and plant-based food that we eat at home. And I'm so grateful for all of it, to provide when I'm cooking. Like, I'm so grateful for paying for the gas for my family. I'm grateful to pay for electricity bill for my family. And every time the bill comes, I don't think, oh my God, it's so expensive. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, it's £100 more this month, because yeah, I remember like we had that disco party. I remember we left the lights on, we had the disco going on like with the kids, or whatever. Like, I was cooking the meal the other day, and it took like 3 hours to make like a chicken curry, with all the spices and the Sri Lankan food and everything. So, like, wow, I'm so grateful to pay this bill. Thank you, because I was able to provide a beautiful meal for my family, beautiful, healthy, home cooked meal for my family. Like, thank you. And thank you for my job that allowed me to have flexible hours so that I can be there at that time to pick up my kids and cook a lovely home cooked meal and play with them and do their studies. And wow, like, thank you. Thank you so much. Like, this is great. So do you see how this is part of creating your own economy? You have to open up your mind, stop living in lack and limitation and fear, and also revenge and all of these things, negativity towards other people. You should stop all of that first. That's the number one thing. Number two is, what is your definition of success? But can you see how that is my definition of success? My definition of success before, I was a GP partner and it was great. But then after a while, then when I was married, I was like, okay, hold on, I'm coming home really, really late. I once even got home super late because I was in a huge car accident, like fire brigade and police and all sorts of things. Because I was spending, it was actually a taxi driver that crashed into me, and it was quite an epic crash. Thankfully, we were both okay. We both, did have to go to hospital for treatment, but it wasn't. Thankfully it was fine. But I literally walked out of there. But you wouldn't have thought of that with the way you saw the car, and just it was all mangled up and all of this stuff. But the reason was because I was working, why was I, it wasn't my fault, but why was I traveling so late at like 10 o'clock at night, staying late, looking at blood results, and then having to call the patient because it was emergency, and then staying really, really late, and just all of these ways of working, which I was like, surely there's got to be another way. Right. And then when you're having kids as well, I was like, there's got to be another way of serving. So that was not ticking my box of health. right? Finishing work at like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, or finishing really late, even if you do have these titles, these leadership titles. Yes, sometimes now and again we have to do that, put in a certain amount of action, but it's very different if you're doing it with an attitude of gratitude and like excitement, and oh my god, we're about to launch this product, it's so exciting, this is different. But ideally you've still done your workout that day, and you're still eating healthy food, and you still spent time with your family, or maybe you're doing that for like 3-4 days and then you're like off like a couple of weeks with your family. That's a bit different. Do you see what I mean? So you've still got balance. That balance might look a bit different to other people, but you've got your definition. So your definition of success has to tick your health box. How are you doing your exercise? Okay, everyone's able to exercise in some shape or form. You can just move your fingers, but you need to exercise, you need to move your body. You need to be in spirit, meditation 3 times a day. I prescribe to all my patients, right? Meditation, not medication, meditation. Okay, I'm not against medication, by the way. I think it's really useful. I'm grateful for all the scientific discoveries we've made, but meditation, again, anybody can do. Okay, so if you can't meditate for 5 minutes in your lunch break, there's something seriously wrong and you need to change that up. Okay, you can meditate like on the toilet you have to, but again, this is all about a can-do attitude. Okay, but the embodiment of it, not just words. And it has to take, healthy eating has to take healthy ways in which you're working. Okay, and healthy relationships. So when you're tending to your relationships, like right now I'm doing this from my parents' house. I'm in my parents' house. I spent the last few days with them, really enjoyed it. After my clinic finishes at 10, we're going to the zoo. I think we're going to the zoo. Yeah, we're going to the zoo. But I have a great time, like with the kids. I'm so grateful. So this is my balance, right? And then I'm also working in the evening after the kids have gone to bed. So this is my way of creating balance. I don't mind working in the evenings or early morning, because in the middle of the day I'm like spending it with my family. I think it's wonderful. Okay, and I'm grateful to have such a portable job and career, right? Just with this beautiful, amazing discovery of a laptop. Okay, through this laptop, I'm creating my own economy right here, right now with you. And I'm so grateful for the way in which I can work as a doctor. It may be a different definition of success for other doctors. That's fine. It doesn't really affect me. All I'm focused on is my own definition. And this allows me to, I woke up this morning, I did my workout, I did my spiritual reading. What did I read? I read Faith in Think and Grow Rich, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Excellent book. I want you all to read that. Okay, I would order it, like pause this if you watch the replay and literally order it and read that book. Read that book inside out. Okay. And not just reading it, implementation, do everything it says. But yeah, so I read Faith in that whilst I was on the cross trainer this morning, training for a 10K marathon. So I was doing my training. So I did that this morning, and then I also listened to my affirmations, all of those things I talked about. So for me, that was my health. Now, I love working in this way. So I'm not just working, I'm really enjoying working. I did my hair and I got my beautiful like suit on. I've actually got like a cocktail dress on, but this is my way of working, right? I really enjoy this. This is me. This is authenticity. This is me just being me, my chakra beads on, and this is me. Again, I love me, and I'm so grateful to me. And this is self-love. So I'm grateful that my patients and you get to see this version of me, because I've tended to myself, which is really important. And then taking your relationships, and then taking your work, the way in which you're working, and then income. What is your income goal? So more than just expenses, which you're grateful to pay, but more than that, right? We are here to create, not just pay bills, okay? We're here to create generational wealth. Generational wealth. Like I think about like one of my mentors, Kathleen Cameron. She created 7 figures in 7 months, which I think is amazing. All right, she's now at like 20 million, and there are billionaires out there, right? One of my other mentors, Akina Kakibai, just made 100K in a day. And these are all mums. Okay, these are all mums working from home. And it's not about the vehicle. A lot of people think, what are they doing? What's the activity? It really starts with your consciousness, and they're all doing different things, right? They're all teaching different things. But this is the key, is to really focus on your unique gift. Okay. So write down your definition of success and make sure you really know what that financial figure is. Like, I would even go as far as to say you should write down, what I tell my clients to do is to write down a list of 50 to 100 things that they would love. You know, almost like a shopping list. That's what my mentor Bob Proctor used to say. Make it like a shopping list. Write down everything that you want. Like, you wanna go sailing one day. Well, write that down. How much does it cost to charter a sailing boat? What kind of a boat would you want to go on? Okay, look it up. How much does it cost? How does it work? Do you like rent it out? Does somebody come with you? Or, you know, do you go as a group? You know, how long do you want to go for? Do you want to take like 3 months off? So then you know what is your 3-month salary that you want. Okay. For your dream life, not just your life now, your dream life. What kind of car do you want to drive? It's not about the car or the house or the holidays, okay? It's so much bigger than this. It is about your mission, about how you love to serve in the world, your unique message, how, like for me, deep emotional healing and empowerment through entrepreneurship is the 3 E's, okay? Deep emotional healing and emotional regulation, empowerment, and through entrepreneurship. These 3 things I think are just so powerful. But you can do this through sending like toilet paper, right? Maybe it's, I don't know, toilet paper with like affirmations on it or something, or it's like quilted paper. It makes people feel really good, even they might have constipation. Whatever it is, okay, it's the energy behind the work you do. It's the attitude, it's the thoughts, the feelings that you're having whilst you're doing your work. That's the mindfulness. It's what are you thinking whilst you're doing it? The attitude. People can feel that energy. And that's the energy behind it that acts as like the fire behind your work. Okay. That's the divine law of compensation. It's a beautiful book by Marianne Williamson. I would highly recommend it. The divine law of compensation. And so, yes, you start to do work that you would do even if it's free. Like, I mean, this is free right now if you're watching this, or you might be watching this as a paid program. But right now, when I'm filming this, it is free. Okay. And I'm grateful to do this. I'm happy for me to be doing this at like 7 a.m. or it's 8 a.m. now, in the morning. I'm really grateful to do this. I'm so lucky. Like, for me, this is one of the things that I picture in my dream life. I'm living my dream life. This is it, right? And I'm spending time with my parents, you know, going to the zoo later. I've done my workout in the morning. I'm not tied to the outcome. Like, I love myself, even if the 10K, I'm like the slowest person there. I don't care. I'm just grateful that my body can move in that way. I'm grateful that, you know, despite having a car accident and having been in the high dependency unit at one point and all of those things, I'm grateful for what my body can do and birth these babies and then like get back to business and even do that on mat leave and all these different ways I can serve. I'm like, wow, the human body is amazing. The human mind, the soul, is what we can do in Mother Earth is incredible. So much opportunity. I think it's crazy people just don't take advantage. And I don't take advantage, that's not a bad thing, but I think it's crazy people wouldn't want to explore this, right? So it really is a mindset shift. So make sure you have your definition, write down everything that you want to do, really dream, go big. Yeah, it might feel a bit silly, be silly then, that's fine. Write it down, that everything that you'd love. What is the house you'd love to be in? What area? Okay, what area would you love to be in? What is it that you'd love to do there? Maybe there's some like VIP golf club or something, or a specific car you want to drive. Which one, with all the specifications that you want, not just other people or how it looks to other people. Forget about impressing other people. Okay, they'll always have something to say. Focus on you. What would you love? And know that these things, yes, they are material things. That's part of our human experience. So is paying for bills. That's part of our human experience. Okay. So is me. So is us having a job. That's part of our human experience. We're here to enjoy life and we're here to also serve. Right. So it's a divine law of compensation. You are compensated for how you serve. The more service you give to the world, and the more in which you do it in an outstanding way, and the more in which you do this with an attitude of gratitude, the more you will receive back. The more people you help, the bigger the impact. This is why I wanted a global business. I didn't want to help people just in their mental health in my postcode as a GP in my postcode, right? Like I used to work in Kilburn, Cricklewood, Kilburn. I didn't want to help people just in that postcode, because what about all the other people? And then even when and then I thought bigger, I was like, okay, now I'm mental health director of my whole region. But then I'd go to the board meetings, which were in central London. And I was like the youngest, like, woman in my 30s, Asian, completely different. It was quite funny. Not funny, but it just showed, how much work there is more to do in the world in terms of diversity. And I just felt like it's beautiful work, and I really enjoyed it. And I felt it was incredible some of the things we were doing, especially around suicide prevention. However, I wanted to go bigger. And I personally didn't want too many meetings to get something done. If I want to do something, I want to do it now. I decided I wanted to do this meeting with you right here, right now at 7 a.m. today. I'm doing it. Right. So I think that's important. I'm grateful for that role, but I don't want to have so many meetings and discussions just to get something done. I want to get it done. Right. So that's why I created my own company. Okay. Global company. Dr. Vidhya Global Institute. And the main name is Athena Publishing House. Athena meaning, and if you look at my logo, it means to prosper, to be victorious, and to conquer. Okay. And it's conquering your own limitations and also conquering darkness in the world through our light, right? Through our light as light workers, or whatever terminology works for you. But through that work, you are shining your light bright. You're not afraid to do that. You're a warrior. You're shining your light bright, even if it may seem silly to some other people. Be silly then. I don't really care, right? And we are trailblazers. We are trailblazers. We are driven. We are strong. We are bold. Okay. And we just go all in. We go all in. We are committed to ourselves, to our mission. When you write this list, and when you start to write why you feel you're here, whatever that is, okay, that becomes your burning desire. Okay. And your mission may be, through your kids. And mine is too. Not as in I'm going to make them like, you have to be like a doctor and you have to do all these things. No, I don't mean that. But I mean, like, whatever they do, they will have this warrior mindset and the wealth consciousness. That's why I called it Wealthy Warriors. It's not just about living a joyful, wealthy life. It's the wealthy consciousness. Some people call this Christ consciousness or Krishna consciousness. It's the same prosperity consciousness, that inner knowingness. So they will have this consciousness and the warrior mindset, which for me is peak performance and leadership. Okay, so that's what I teach. Conscious peak performers to become visionary leaders. Okay, live a joyful, wealthy life, go all out, and whatever their mission is. And I have a vehicle through entrepreneurship, or you can just stay in your job and in your career and your industry and do it that way, right? But I would strongly recommend you do like both, and go all out. Go all out. And when you do that, you start to develop, as Napoleon Hill says, a burning desire. And this is what they say in Think and Grow Rich. A burning desire is literally like fire under your butt. Okay. It's like fire. And it's the reason I wake up at 5 a.m. Right? It's the reason I get, plenty of rest and rejuvenation. So don't worry about that. Don't go into scarcity. Don't go into limitations. And you don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. You can wake up at 9 a.m. You can wake up whenever you want. I'm talking about my definition. Okay. But that's the reason, is because I have a burning desire. Okay. And yes, in exchange, I'm grateful for this dream life, which I am creating. I go on into all of this. I have a podcast called Create the Life You Want. And it literally is that, step by step. We're creating the life that we want with gratitude for the life that we have right now. But we are literally exchanging the life we have right now for this dream life. Can you see that? We're literally becoming a different version of ourselves, but that different version of ourselves is actually already within us. And this is why this is actually like, this is the hero's journey or heroine's journey, or I like to call it the warrior's journey. Okay. It's a warrior's journey of self-realization. You're actually going back to yourself without the limitations, without the shadow. I mean, shadow work's important, like it's contrast. But what I mean by that is it's without any limitations. It's with your limitless potential. You are now awakened. All right. So in my programs, I take you through my 5-part process. It's the HEART methodology, HEART, HEART. Healing, which is a deep emotional healing, but also physically, and I call it soul healing. I think it's so important because you have to remove these blocks and you have to emotionally regulate. Otherwise, it actually manifests as physical disease. That's where the word disease comes from, dis-ease. Your mind is not at ease. Your soul is not at ease. So therefore, your body is not at ease. It develops a dis-ease, a disease. Okay. And worrying, the Anglo-Saxon word of worry actually means to choke. You're literally choking yourself. You're literally choking your body. You're putting your body in a very constrained state as you raise the cortisol hormone level, the stress hormone level. On a cellular level, it's not good for your cells. Okay, so we want to get out of stress response. So healing, so important. Okay, healing. And I feel that's why I start with this. I'm a doctor, I'm a healer, and I really feel like this is what makes me stand apart, and I'm excellent at what I do, right? I've won awards for being a doctor, and even as like a coach, as a brand new coach, I won an award for my program because deep emotional healing, so important. So healing. Then we have empowerment, okay? Empowerment and emotional regulation, okay? So important, okay? That's why we're here. A is awakening the warrior within. It's also a spiritual awakening. All right, so this is all about the consciousness. We're waking ourselves up to the real us, going back to authenticity. Okay, we're not trying to copy other people. We're not trying to emulate other people. We may take facets and traits that we're like, wow, I love how you do that. That's beautiful. I love that. I'm going to work that into, I'm going to be me, but I'm going to work that into like the up-leveled version of myself, because I love how you do that. And so I think that's incredible. I think that's beautiful. Okay. So you work in those facets as well as you're up-leveling and up-leveling and up-leveling. Okay, but you're staying true to yourself, awakening. Then R is rising. You're rising up. You're rising your vibration. You're rising up your ladder of belief. You are rising up the consciousness. You're rising up the income levels. Okay, you are rising up. You're waking people up as well. So you're rising, and then you are thriving is the T, thriving. So for me, this is leadership. This is conscious leadership or ethical leadership, but living a joyful, wealthy life. Okay, all of it together as leaders, conscious leaders, right? So heart, that's my heart system. And I take you through that. And that's what we're going through in this masterclass. We're going through all of that. Okay. So another thing I want you to do now is I want you to really iron down, what is that financial number? Okay, what is that number? That dream life number? What do you need to have? What's the number? You'll know how much does the sailboat cost? How much does the house cost? How much does the training cost? The investment to maybe become a coach, or the training to do other things. Like, you don't need the piece of paper, don't tie your self-worth to it, but maybe there are certain things that you think, I'd love to serve in that way, or that's going to help me with my mission, or I can do it, in addition to working full-time, whatever it is. Add it all up, right? Add it all up. And then you can then figure out, what is it then per month that I want to be earning? Okay, stop saying need to be. Let's get out of that lack mentality. What is it that I would love to be earning? And maybe even not using the word earning. What is the amount of money that I would love to be having into my bank account? This is the circulation of wealth. It's then going to go out as we gratefully pay for expenses. Is this going to come back in again? And it's just a circulation. It's meant to move around. It's not meant to just sit in one place and gather dust. It's meant to move around. We then spend it through investments as well. Okay, so what is that amount of money per month? That's so important. So important that we actually have that specific amount of money, okay, that we can really, really hone in on. So I want you to know what that number is. I want you to write it down. I'm going to give you all a goal card. Okay, I'm going to give you all a goal card, and in this card, it's basically something that my mentor used to do. And I want you to write down your definition of success. Okay, but I want you to start it with, I am so happy and grateful now that, your definition of success, like the ultimate, and I am earning, or I am making this much money, or I'm moving the energy of this much money. Whatever word works for you. Like if it feels weird to say moving the energy of, then just say earning. It's fine. Okay, but now the difference is, now through this masterclass, you're now having an awareness of what that means, that I don't need to be hustling and earning. Maybe a third of that money comes through that job and my job, and a third of that income comes from my business, or this particular arm of my business, like my coaching business, and maybe an eighth comes through my books, right? And maybe another bit comes from, I'm also an appraiser. Okay, so I'm an appraiser for doctors, for NHS England. So maybe I have a portion that comes through that, through my consultancy work with them in that way. Maybe some of it comes, I'm an examiner for medical schools as well, in London. So maybe I'm examiner for top London medical schools. So maybe I have earnings that come through that, and the lecturing that I do for them, and that side of things. Or maybe it comes in some whole other way that I haven't even thought of yet, like some, I don't know, some dividend in stocks, or some other kind of investment that we make, or whatever it is. Okay, so I'm open to any and all forms of wealth. Can you see that? But I am building my own vehicles, and I'm also open. I'm keeping the lid open. I'm not saying, no, it has to only come through this box of coaching, or this box in publishing books, or this box in being an examiner or an appraiser, or this box in being a doctor. I'm not saying that. So yes, I have created different boxes there. Now, what is that? That's multiple streams of income. Multiple sources of income is so important, because it means that you have created lots of different ways in which the abundance can flow to you. And remember that this is not just about money, okay? I know we're here to talk about money, but it's important you're aware of this. Abundance is coming to you in all forms. So me being able to do a workout this morning at 5 a.m. and move my body in that way, I'm so grateful. That is a form of abundance, okay? That is an incredible form of abundance that I'm so grateful to do. Me being here in my parents' house, in their beautiful house, with these beautiful golden drapes and curtains and things that they have, which I love. Me wearing these, beautiful clothes, designer clothes, which I love my blazers. Me having, lovely, luscious, like I love my hair, luscious, glossy, natural hair, my smooth, clear skin, all of these things. This is another form of abundance, of health. Okay, so the glow, right, is not just my makeup, but it's that inner fire. That is my solar plexus chakra, which I have activated this morning, ready for you. So I activated this morning as I did my meditation, my chakra balancing and activating meditation. So that is a form of abundance, that I had time to do that, because there are times that I don't have time to do that with my little monkeys. But I'm really grateful that 10 minutes I was sitting there meditating, and it felt so good, visualizing what I'm doing with you right now, and how I want it to go, and also my dream life, the next level, and with gratitude for where I am right here, right now. All of this are different. These are different forms of abundance. Okay, being in my parents' house, being able to spend this time with them, this is so important to me, so incredibly important to me, that I get to spend this time with them. Okay, so incredibly important to me. So these are all different forms of abundance that I want you to see how we are not just focusing on money and staying up late every single day, and missing dinner with our family every single day, and missing weekends with our family every single day. Like, I used to think locoming a lot on top of what I'm doing, because that's what I used to do. I would work full time and I would locum on top of that. That's what a lot of doctors do. Was a way to get extra money. Obviously, it was a way to get extra income for my family. So I would, I'd maybe like made investments, for my coaching, which I had paid via credit card. So I then wanted to pay for that, and then I would locum, and I would locum on the weekends, or then locum, on the evenings, or really, 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 especially on the weekend. So I'm grateful that I can do that, but I'm it has to be a balance as well. It can't be every weekend, and then you find better ways of doing it as well. You want to have balance in being able to exercise. You're not going to miss out on all your workouts just because you're going to work, right? You're not going to eat unhealthy food all the time just because, oh, but I've got to get this project done and it earns this much money, and I've got this big title. Like, it's something has to give at some point, okay? And it will give at some point in a way. It will give out in a way where you won't even care about the money or the title anymore. So we don't want to do that. We want to be whole. We want to tick our health box every day. We want to actually do this. If you buy my habits book, it has a journal at the back, whereby I teach you and I show you how to do that every day. It's not the activity, but how to make sure you tick off your health every day, including mental health. So I've got tools in there for you and how to do that. Just get the book. It's really good. I know it's my own book, but honestly, it's really good. And it shows you. It shows you. I wrote the book in a week. So it shows you how you can just get your book done like that when you really want to, when you have a burning desire. And it also breaks down for you exactly how you can transform exactly what we're talking about: your health, your wealth, your relationships, your mind, body, and soul. It really goes into mind, body, and soul, and the start of the warrior embodiment work. Okay. So, and then if you wish to go further, then please feel free to DM me or message me, and we can set up a call, and we can go into that in a bit more detail and how we can work together, how you can roll my programs, or just DM me and we can send you the link. But we really go into that a deep embodiment of that mind, body, and soul work, deep emotional healing. It's incredible. There's a reason this program has won awards. But for now, really happy for you to receive this knowledge through this program. So really want to hone in on balance, okay? Because actually, when it's not about there's this beautiful book I read called Getting the Right Work Done, Getting the Right Things Done, or Getting the Right Work Done. I have to check that for you. Do pop it in the comments if you know what it's called. And I think it's by one of the Harvard Business Review books. And it's very much about, actually, they took two employees. Okay, and there's one employee who would work like 11-hour days and work through lunch and miss the gym and all of those things. And then there was another employee who would make sure they always took their lunch break, and they would go for a walk, and they would go for a little nap in their car and have like a nice salad, and then they worked shorter hours, but the time they did work was actually more intense, but then they took lots of breaks, and they had a real attitude of gratitude and a real that's what peak performance is. You have an attitude of gratitude, and that's when it turns into something where you're passionate about your work. When you're not passionate about your work, but you're doing the same amount of hours, then it's called burnout. Do you see the difference? Okay, so it's not about the number of hours, it's not about the activity, it's the attitude, yes, but also the way in which this second person worked, which was plenty of breaks, went for a walk, eating healthy food, taking, resting, rejuvenating, meditating in their way. They actually had much better work, even though they actually physically worked for less hours. They were able to get more work done, so they were more productive. This is peak performance, and the work was of a much higher quality. It was outstanding work. So you see the difference. You sometimes think, I just need to push through, and I need to work through lunch, and I need to just do this for a few more years, I need to work the weekend, and it's not about that. Actually, you pushing through is actually hindering you, but you can't see it because you're so bogged down. You need to look up. And when you look up through meditation, through going for a walk, being in nature, right? If you work in a really corporate place and there's not much nature, you can get a plant and put it on your desk, right? So you're breathing in that healthy air. And you're looking physically at greenery as well next to your laptop. Okay, it's what I do sometimes when I especially when I used to work in my practice, I would have like a plant, like potted plants next to me. So these things are teaching you to look up. It gives you perspective. This is a mental faculty of perspective to really look at what you're doing. So you see, these are the key components in creating your own economy. Okay, you need to have the mindset around it, and it's my little ones. My little one's just come down. She's woken up. Hi, darling. So you need to have the mindset around it, and you also need to develop a burning desire. Okay, so the key components you need to look at: have a burning desire. You need to have absolute faith in what you're doing. Absolute faith, 100% faith in yourself, in your mission. Right, it becomes a mission when you have a burning desire, right? And you also have an inner knowing that you are, not that you will receive it, but you're already receiving that abundance. Maybe it's the money's not physically in your bank account yet, but you're receiving the positive energy from people that you're serving, and you're receiving the flow, the creativity of just being in alignment with your values and your true authenticity, and it feels so good. And you're creating maybe your book or your book outline or your coaching program, or you're creating a new project for work in your industry, in your job. You're like, oh my God, this feels so good. I love what I do. This feels so good. And you can do that in whatever vehicle, whatever box, you've set up, but it's attitude. So then you're already receiving the abundance. And then the money is just a byproduct. Okay, but we are really being very descriptive in how that occurs, because we want it to occur in that way as well. But you will start to find out that things just open up left, right, and center, and ways you could never have even imagined, because we are limitless. Okay. So I want you to really, the homework for today, for day one, is what is your definition of success? And you're going to get your workbook. Okay. So if you haven't got a workbook, please put in the comments workbook, and we will DM you because we need your email address. So please send us or just DM me your email address and just write workbook. So email address and put workbook, and we will send you out the workbook out. Okay. So I want you, because I really want you to get the maximum use out of this workshop. I want you to get the maximum use out of this. So make sure you do that, and you get the workbook completely for free. Okay, so the workbook is eventually going to be available separately, but you're going to get it for free. Okay, in this workshop, so you're getting everything. I'm literally giving you every single thing that you could possibly that you want in this workshop. It's obviously not going to be the same as some of the programs, but I really want to give you as much value as humanly possible in the time that I have. So, what is your definition of success? And it has to tick health, wealth, and relationship box. And I mean the relationship with yourself as well, which is, what are your values? Okay. I am going to, you'll get a goal card. And on that, I want you to specifically write down what is the amount in dollars or pounds or whatever your currency is. But what is that specific amount that you desire, that you would love, right? I'm not saying need, would love to earn every single month consistently. Okay, so for example, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning in excess of £100,000 every single month consistently, and I'm doing it with ease, flow, and grace, in alignment with my values, right? In balance with my health, wealth, and love. Health, wealth, and love in balance. In exchange for me, my mission is helping people to step into their greatest power in their health, wealth, and love. Deep emotional regulation and healing and empowerment. So for me, it's the 3 E's. In exchange for helping globally people with deep emotional healing, deep empowerment, and through entrepreneurship. So my mission is generational healing whilst creating generational wealth. Okay, that is my mission. And I'm asking that from the divine in return. And it will come in any and all ways, and it will come with divine timing. Okay. So, and we are rising to that level. We are rising to that level. And it might start off with the salary you have right now, but you start to feel really good with that. You're really enjoying it. You change your perspective about your job into gratitude and take bits of it that you love, or you find a job that you can have that attitude with. And you start building your own consciousness around this, and you start building your own business and writing your own books and creating your own programs or whatever it is that you want to do. Start your own business or network marketing or affiliate marketing. So many opportunities out there, and you can definitely do this whilst working full-time like me. So that's your homework for today. I really want you to just dream, use your mental faculty of imagination. Okay, so we have other mental faculties like willpower, reasoning, but reasoning, which is our logical mind, reasoning is not enough. And do you know why? Because you have not yet become that version of you that is able to, you haven't tapped into your limitless potential yet, right? You're like, it's still just a bit of an interesting idea. So if you're not really taking it seriously, if you don't have 100% faith in something, then your reasoning factor isn't activated enough to really be able to logically think of every single step, maybe right now. And I'm here to help you to provide those steps. Okay, that's the whole point of me as your coach. But when you use your mental faculty of imagination, it's not just imagination. You're really tapping into the 4D, or as Abraham Hicks says, the vortex, or whatever, however you want to say it. If you can imagine it, that means that version of you is living that life in another dimension right here, right now. So this is all a journey of self-realization, going within rather than looking outside. Okay, so that version of you has the house, the car, the relationship, the way in which you're working, the income, all of those things, the recognition, the respect. But it is who is that version of you? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are the traits that they have? That's what you want to focus on more than the things. So the things, I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's important. I think that's part of our stability and foundation of self, and part of our human experience. We can choose to experience these beautiful things as well. So there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't believe you need to sacrifice in order to have a mission. You can do both. Okay. There's no reason we can't do both. But what we want to do is really focus on, who are we? Who is that version of me? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I doing right now? Right. So, you know, so that version of me, who wants that, okay, but they're also spending time with their family. That's when you then start to tap into the reasoning, because you build in the faith. When you have the burning desire, you then start to really feel like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I really want this. And I can see this happening. I can literally see it happening because I'm visualizing it. I'm meditating. I'm imagining it. When you're using your imagination, basically, by the way, that is a meditation. You're basically doing a visualization meditation. You go in your imagination, you play some nice music on your YouTube for like 5 minutes, and you put your headphones in and you just imagine your dream life for a couple of minutes, and you look at your goal card, which you can take a screenshot of and save it as a, what's it called, desktop saver thingy. You know what I'm trying to say. And save it. And so you're really going all into this. It's not just like a nice little webinar that you're watching on the side. It's like, no, okay, I'm doing this. I'm all in. This is what it takes. Even if someone looks at your phone like, oh, what's that? And you may not want to show everyone your goal card. That's fine. Like, it's not that it's a secret. It's just this is like planting a seed. Okay, it's like having a baby. It's precious, and we want to guard it, but we don't need to be scared. We don't need to be scared. We don't need to be like, oh, but if I tell someone, they might laugh at me. Let them laugh. All right? Plenty of people laughed at me and my ideas. Don't worry. Let them laugh and let them see this is why I call it warriors, okay? Because you need courage. The opposite of conformity. Don't be a sheep and copy what everybody else does, just regardless of what the news says. Don't be a sheep. The opposite of conformity is courage. Take courage. Have courage to be the version of you that you want to be, and be that today. Be that today, right here, right now, with whatever you're doing. Even after this, when you're going to go and make a coffee, be that version of you. Be that version of you. You're making coffee in your dream home with gratitude for where you are right now, that you can have physical coffee, and you're drinking it, and what kind of cup and what kind of coffee you're having, and oh, it smells so good, and you're in your new kitchen in your new house, and you're with all your kids and your family around you, or however you want it to be. That's imagination. You can do it anytime, anywhere, but you always keep one foot grounded right here, right now, with immense gratitude and a joyful attitude. All right, a joyful attitude. And if joy is too much right now with something going on, then peace. Focus on peace of mind. You can always find peace. All right, and it is a choice. Okay, always return to love. Always choose faith. Always choose faith in any situation. Choose faith. Choose love. Choose to believe in yourself. So I really hope this helps. This has been day one. I've really enjoyed this. I've got like 4 minutes before I start my clinic now. I'm going to grab a quick coffee and play with my kids for a bit. And I'm just clinic just for an hour, which is great. We're off to the zoo, but thank you so much. I'm really, truly, truly grateful to serve in this way. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm really grateful. Make sure you watch this back, right? Watch this back, I would say 2 or 3 times to really absorb all of the details and really study it. And any books I mention, I would order it straight away. That's what I do. When my mentor mentions something, I order it straight away, and I start reading it, or I implement it into my practice. You can even just do something for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and develop a morning and evening ritual. But we'll get into all of that. There's so much I want to teach you, but I'm just doing as much as I can. So sending you so much love and light. So tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow we'll be on at 12:30 GMT. 12:30 is going to be half an hour long, okay, because I'm doing it in my lunch break. So 12:30 to 1 p.m. GMT will be on. All right. So we're also going to then be doing Friday as well, 12:30 to 1 p.m. GMT. And then we're going to do some bonus trainings next week. So exciting. We're going to do some bonus trainings as well next week. We're going to have some interviews with my beautiful clients, which some of them are pre-recorded. So you may even be able to see some of them in the guide section in the Wealthy Warriors group under testimonials. Like there's all there. It's just like a wall of testimonials. Get my book. I would strongly recommend you get my book. And make sure you share this so as many people as possible can watch this. Okay. People need this. So I'd love for you to share this. And remember, when you share it, tag me, tag Dr. Vidhya, or take a screenshot and DM me so that I know, and then I can put your name into the prize draw. And tomorrow we're going to do day one of the prize draw. Well, it's day 2, but we're going to do the prize draw. Okay. Sending you so much love and light. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. And DM me for the workbook. Make sure you get the workbook. So comment below, workbook. You must do the workbook so you can really study this and really soak it in. Okay. Send you so much light. Have a great day. Bye.